5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Overtime.
Hello everybody, welcome to Overtime, a show where two NAs and two EUs talk about competitive TF2 during overtime. My name is Bethix, and with me today is Flash from Past Fortress, Wild Rumpus, his YouTube channel is pretty awesome, and Animations, the video editor for Essentials TF, if I'm correct.
Basically.
Basically, yeah. I've seen some of your videos and some of the stuff that you worked on, and it's been pretty nice. Very clean stuff. And
thank you.
how are y'all doing today, by the way?
Doing well.
Doing well? That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
What we're going to be talking about today is... Oh, what's up?
I'm not drinking.
You're not drinking? Let's go, lads. He's not drinking tonight. Such a shame.
I would never. I would never.
And what we're going to be talking about today is mostly about what's going on, a little bit of Europe, but we're also going to be talking about mainly Team Fortress 2 or competitive Team Fortress 2 content creation and a little bit of the drought around it. So first off, I want to mention a few things. One, I'm starting to live stream more on YouTube and Twitch for the RGL seasons, all their matches as much as I can, and talking about it and everything like that. If you guys are interested in that, definitely hit the notification bell on YouTube or follow on Twitch, which is Overtime TF on Twitch, and just hang out and have some fun there. Another thing is that we haven't seen Badlands yet, so let's go, guys. We haven't seen Badlands yet. This is what's up. This is what's up. It's weird not seeing it yet. Like, it's been 2 to 3 weeks now, and no Badlands yet.
Wonder why that is.
I don't know for sure. It's weird. I mean, I know Ben sent me a post privately saying that like in the 3rd week that's when Badlands is gonna be. Yeah, 3rd week that's when Parlance is gonna happen and everything. So it might happen. If it doesn't, I'm gonna start laughing. I'm gonna laugh at him. And I mean that's really it. I mean, what else can we say of what's going on around? I heard that Anglerfish, the invite team Anglerfish that's sponsored by the advanced team Anglerfish died. They just straight up blew their head off or something after 2 weeks.
What?
Yeah, that's what happens when the players who are used to winning play on a team that doesn't win.
I don't even know why they even broke up in the first place. We haven't heard anything. The only way I knew was because someone sent a picture of Soar saying that the team died. He tried his best. That was it.
Yeah, a bunch of people just left from what I've heard.
Yeah. I mean, they were sponsored too. That's the crazy part. They had money and they just decided to just up and leave. I hope he gets his money back. Gilbert, the owner of Anglerfish.
Interesting.
I mean, is there anything going on in EU right now? Have you guys noticed anything in EU?
There's 6 teams. I don't know. There not being a Div 1 division was pretty lame, in my opinion. I saw like a group chat of like admins and like Div 1 team leaders, and then half of the teams wanted to go Div 1 and the other half didn't because they were sandbagging. And then I don't know. They just like dropped the idea of Div 1, and now it's like all meshed up in one high division.
I hope I'm not exposing them too hard for this, but isn't most of the admins in ETF2L in Div 1? Like they made a team in Div 1 or something?
No.
Am I wrong on that?
I guess it's known that most of the ETFO admins are not actually that high of a div. So I don't think there's any alternative motive.
That's fair.
For them not
I noticed that
having a div ones.
I noticed that a lot lately. People who are admins or run the org are mostly low div players.
I think we had a long time ago a team called Weeb Tunnel Tactics in Europe, and that had quite a few of the admins at one time, but I think it's been a long time since they've been there. I don't think any of the admins are still admins anymore from that team.
I mean, it also like brings up the question of should admins even be in such high division, which is kind of outside of the scope of this video, I guess.
That's an interesting question though. I've never thought of that as a question. I mean, maybe it could be just simple as like it depends on the resume of what they did, or it just depends
Oh,
on
yeah.
depends on how much they know those players and everything by being so high
Yeah.
div. But I mean that's really it. I mean the YouTube content. What do you guys mostly think about YouTube content when it comes to competitive TF2?
Sparse, I would say.
Yeah, agreed. I don't know. I feel like we had like a lot of good content creators, like of names like our Lazy Purple and Uncle Dane, like the big ones. But I think I mean Lazy Purple had like an actual reason of not creating any content anymore, and then I don't know what Uncle Dane is doing, but he kind of dropped the ball. I guess it's also good to say for me that I don't really follow TF2 content that much anymore, so I'm not sure exactly what the happenings are.
Yeah, I kind of fell off a little bit when it comes to the TF2, like the big TF2 sphere. I've been mostly just scrapping to find those competitive TF2 spheres. And
Oh yeah,
it's crazy once you start digging into it to find those said players that are actually competitive TF2 players, but they, they switch to casual and stuff like that just to get views and everything.
yeah. I mean, I think that's probably like one of the, I wouldn't say flaws, but like things you notice where it's like, wow, it's how do I explain this? It's like a competitive or a casual video, but like only slight portions of it mention competitive, and then even like that isn't very in depth. Like when it's talking about something that would affect competitive, right?
Yeah, I mean the only exceptions from what I notice is Brand Slam, who hasn't uploaded a video in a couple months besides recently a Roblox video. Wild Rumpus, and uh, and Frisbee. But Frisbee is
Mhm.
more of that like he plays the game, then talks about it after, talks about his thoughts on everything and just has
Isn't it like
conversations.
the? I remember. I think it's one of the Australian guys, Wills, like
Oh
Road
yeah,
to
Road to
Grand
Mastery.
Master. Yeah,
Yeah, where he's just
Mastery.
pugging everything.
Yeah. Isn't that just like the first 2 minutes of is like him explaining like what the series is, and then it's just a pug fod.
Yeah, he shows his best games and then shows like what elo or he shows what elo he's at, and
Mm-hmm.
then he'll just play the rest of the match out. Every time he dies, he skips ahead a little bit to then him respawning unless it's something actually interesting or important like a medic kill or a
Right.
team wipe or something like that.
That's
But
kind of lame. What the fuck?
I think
That's super lame.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool myself because it
I mean,
shows the gameplay of sixes without having to watch some gameplay of it. I've seen so many people do that these days. Like there's this one guy. I only saw one video of him, but he started doing it recently where he did competitive Highlander in TF2 Central, and he would just pump out matches that he thought was actually pretty interesting or funny, and he'll just pump it out a little bit. Like he played,
right.
if I'm correct, he played the what's that weapon called again? It's the one with the robot hand.
Slinger.
Yeah, the gunslinger with Frontier Justice, and he was getting a lot of kills in that match. It was really fun to see.
Mm.
I could never sit down to watch a gunslinger engineer VOD.
Because you're
That is
an
no,
elitist. You're an
no,
elitist.
no. I just have more fun scraping my balls against the floor. I think, I mean, the idea has potential. It's actually pretty funny because this week I think it was even yesterday. I saw a video of a similar idea, but with Minesweeper, where it's like Road to Grandmaster, I think. And that was actually very interesting because the person who made the videos actually went in depth of like, oh, what
you're talking about
went right here
Krubs.
and what. I don't know. I don't know who that is actually.
Corrupts. He is a variety streamer that does. Or actually, I'm his video editor. I work for him, and we had a full-on conversation about that video specifically. And he wanted to make a full series about it, but it took him so long to make it that he just shrugged it off and said, "I can't do this anymore." And he was getting so high of an elo, it just felt like it was useless to keep going.
I don't remember who it was, but it definitely wasn't Krubs, and it definitely wasn't like a very big guy. It was like some random Minesweeper player from Britain.
Oh, then I'm thinking of, yeah, okay, I'm thinking wrong then.
I could probably search it back up. It was very interesting because I actually had a lot of insight into what was going on. When I watch a Wales video or a VOD of a gunslinger engineer, I'm not getting like a lot of insight, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they still exist though. Because, well, yeah, like I don't really like tune into the Frisbee videos so much. I'll just like sometimes check one or two out every once in a while, skip through it to be honest. But I don't know. I'm glad that kind of thing exists because I think that, at least from my own experiences, the audience for competitive TF2 content is like something that needs or needed, I guess still needs to like be cultivated, because you can't just like start doing really, or rather you can siphon off like casual players to be more interested in competitive TF2 and competitive content. But that needs to like, that's a process that like needs to happen at some point. Like you need to cultivate the audience. It's not just there waiting.
Yeah, it needs that natural flow of actually being interested in it.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
I like those videos because it makes casual players more interested in competitive, even if it looks boring.
I mean, I think it's good that it exists, but it's like, I don't know. It's not personally something for me. I get it. I get it's like something more interesting for people who don't know what a competitive is. But for a person who has played a gazillion hours of competitive and watched a gazillion hours of competitive, I don't want to watch a Wales VOD of a pug, a random ass pug, where Australians just like curse at each other. It's pretty entertaining. Like Australians cursing at each other is entertaining, but like the pug itself just isn't.
Yeah, but it makes me still wonder why we still have this competitive drought if it's that simple on, making content for competitive TF2. If people could just pick up a mic and record and like their gameplay and then just call it a day. If it's that simple and it cultivates that much people, because we've seen it a lot with Wills, Frisbee. We've seen it from that one guy. I've seen that video blow up a little bit with I think it was like over 5 to 9K views, and people were just like, "This is awesome! I love seeing Gunslinger, Frontier Justice, and competitive Highlander."
I mean, I think most people who play competitive are only there for competitive. Like, if you talk to, I don't know, like let's just say you're a random invite player, right? You're not gonna say like, "Oh well, this is just free content." Like, nah, it's not something they're really interested in. I'd say, like, if I was a content or a competitive player, I'd not be like, "Yeah, let's just upload a random ass file of me yelling at my teammates." For the sake of it, because in like competitive needs it or whatever, or it's just free content.
Yeah, on YouTube, I generally agree. That seems more like a Twitch thing, which is something else that people should be doing more, at least in North America. Like, you can talk to older players and they'll all have like fond memories and think very positively of like old Showstopper streams or AIM streams or whatnot. And we don't really have like the streamer invite players so much anymore. Even like I have friends who like play invite on kind of those caliber of teams, and sometimes there'll be talk about like, oh, it's going to be like the content season, like we're all going to stream, and then it just doesn't actually happen. I don't know. I feel like for a lot of the live stream stuff and just like raw VOD ish type of thing, like it really does just come down to people actually like hitting live or actually doing that. It's like you
Yeah.
don't need special permission.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. You're
I
good.
think you have an interesting situation at the sort of top of, at least for Europe, where games are timed around people with jobs and hobbies and personal lives. So sometimes you'll find out when games are, even as part of the essential staff, really late notice, like a couple of days before. If potentially there was a world, which I'm not saying is the right thing to do, but if there was a world where it was possible to have sort of games at certain times, that might help retention maybe on Twitch. And then maybe if there was something very similar to the old Batcap videos, I don't know if you guys have watched those or
I
if
have
I've
seen
just
those.
shown my age.
Seen those
Yeah,
led by
it's
Banny,
the
if I'm correct.
led by Bani.
I think it was-
Isn't that the news recap thing?
The recap series on Fireside Cast.
No. It was. I thought Backup was also like a news recap.
Yeah,
like a
backup was
general
also
Yeah.
a news
TF2.
thing. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
I was definitely around during that. Who was in charge of that?
I thought it was Banny. I could be wrong.
Wasn't it? I thought Shunik did the editing.
Yes.
Okay.
I know,
sure.
I know. Shunik did the editing. It was always different people on the mic almost every time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was always fun to see.
Yeah.
And I tried to recreate that formula with recap on Fireside Cast. And little did I know that shit is rough, especially if you're not a writer or not into the scene as hard as some people are. Mostly Sayo or Jay was doing most of the writing while I did just gathering the items and doing the video editing. And even then, Sayo would give me some of the materials, to do that said video editing and everything. It was a lot of fun, but the problem with that is that it takes almost a month to do it monthly, unless you have a lot of free time. I don't have a lot of free time. I work at a warehouse from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Actually, no, I work at it from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. My bad. I wake up at 5 a.m. to get to my job. But the point is, I don't have a lot of time, so I only get so much time to start working on the video to try to pump it out in under a month to do a monthly recap and everything. And it's just rough. It's very rough.
Yeah, from what I've seen, the sort of content projects that require like a lot of different people and a lot of moving pieces absolutely can work, but it's like really, really hard to make that a recurring thing, like a monthly show or a weekly show. Like the number of times that I've seen some type of we're trying to do this like this with this regularity kind of just sputter out very quickly. Yeah, I think a lot of the successful stuff has been more just like individuals, just because it's so easy to just like on a whim put something out.
I just wish I had more time. Wish I had more time to keep working on it because I'm surprised we even got 5 videos out. We got 5 episodes of that shit out, and I was surprised that we even got all that out.
5 good videos, by the way. I've really enjoyed those.
Hell yeah,
Excuse
salute,
me.
brother.
I have to say though, like even like small videos like that, if you have a creative brain, like that just absolutely gets can I curse?
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely get fucked with the time because like when I have like an idea of oh, I want to create a video or whatever, that takes a long ass time because I want to make it as good as it can be, right?
Yeah.
If you have a creative brain, like you cannot just go for middle of the road.
it brings me to think of documentaries and other competitive TF2 stuff, because some people like the idea of making documentaries these days, and they take the time to do it, but it takes so long to do it, so much research, and if you mess up once, then you get backlash for it,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
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 Looking at you,
Been
Flish.
Been there. Been there.
But it's definitely worth it. You definitely get a lot of views for it. Like the Rome video that just completely have the team flop on its ass. Now they're in advance and they're actually fourth place, but that's not the point. That team just flops after the video happened, and God, it reached 10K, got a lot of hype, and it got a lot of views on Firesidecast's Twitch channel every time they're on. They would double the amount of views every time Rome was on screen. And when they flopped, everybody just goes, "What was it all for?" You know?
Yeah. Dude, the Rome video was so good though. I remember that specifically. It was like, damn, if these videos like keep coming up, like even though like they take a while, I'm like hell yeah. I'm in for this.
Actually, fun fact about that: that took me 3 to 4 weeks to get that done.
What?
Yeah, because again, Sayo does all the screenwriting and gives me the materials. I just do the video editing. And Sayo's pretty quick on their sources because, he knows his way around the community and he knows how to get everything he needs in under a flash. It takes him, like, if I'm correct, when he writes a script and everything, it takes him 2 to 3 days to write a whole script. And then another day to get all the materials that he needs for the video. And then I run around and collect other materials that fit that said video. So it's like loose material that he gives me that he wants in the video, and then I collect like the little pieces left to make the video.
2 to 3 days to write a script. How many words is this?
I can show. Actually, no, I can't do that. That'd be rude. That'd be definitely rude. It's like it depends on the video or script. The script for the Rome video, if I'm correct, that was 4 pages, maybe 5 pages long, if I'm correct.
Okay.
It's a lot. He's a fast typer. He's a fast typer. Holy shit! I've watched him type in real time, and he's just pew all the way down. He gets a paragraph done in under 30 minutes. Yeah.
I need to learn his ways.
Sign up to
But
Firesidecast.
is he not going like back and like revising like everything?
No, definitely. He definitely likes to revise a lot. Every time he thinks or he finds something, he always revises it. He always talks to me about it. We always chat about it half the time. Like, he does this thing where he'll write the whole rough draft, and then he'll ask me for opinions and everything like that, and then he'll ask other people for opinions. And whenever he gets an opinion, he'll think about it, and then he'll revise it based on that said opinion. And if there's like anything we're missing out, then he'll put that in, and he'll add more to the page and everything.
Right. I mean, I guess it's easier for a whole team of people. I don't know. I really have a hard time.
I wouldn't consider it a team if it's just 2 guys. I
mean, all right, 2 is more than 1. 2 is more than 1.
That's fair. That's definitely fair.
I definitely don't relate to that. I literally just hit record and then talk.
That's why I always say that as a bit. You just hit record, yap your head off, and then go to bed. That's all you do, and you get more subscription than everyone else. It's the craziest thing.
You shouldn't have admitted that. You should have just said like, yeah, I put in a lot of work. Like,
yeah, I find the right demo for the review.
24/7 grind.
I have videos that are scripted and are edited, and like, I guess the output there is better, but from my experience, like, I just needed to do what actually got videos out because it just like took way too long. Like, finding footage is just miserable.
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Yeah. Especially if it's old timey videos. For example, the recent documentary that was pumped out for part 1 of I don't even know how many parts yet. But the first NA super team on Firesidecast, that was all. He was just scrapping half the time. I think the first part of that video took. Shit, I don't remember. I think it was the time when I started working on Highlander the Highlander documentary video, and that
The
was
Witness Gaming one.
Yeah, the Witness Gaming one. It was from that time to the upload date is how long that's been going on, and it's still going.
Damn.
I'm gonna be honest, it's still going, but it's very
Yeah.
slow in the process.
I mean, I guess that's another good like thing to talk about though, because I always had the feeling of like whenever a competitive video is being made, it always is super grand. Like I don't know if you guys notice this as well, but it's like I feel like every competitive video that is talking about more than just like why Snakewater Last is Super 8s is like super grand.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's just more of the YouTube stigma now, right? If you want
Oh,
more
yeah.
views on your channel, you have to make some grand documentary with high editing
Yeah.
and great script writing and everything like that. It's like you're basically trying to write a mini movie every time.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, you're not getting any views.
I mean,
I have also seen throughout the years, I mean, people compare TF2 to Melee all the time, which it's like, sure, like it's not the worst comparison.
I don't
but,
like it either. I mean, I
such a bad
understand.
comparison.
I understand the comparison,
But
it's-
as a result, everyone looks back at like when Melee really started popping off with like the Melee documentary and all this, like bringing in all these new players. And like obviously there are material differences in how TF2 and Melee can be played and like the accessibility of each. But a lot of people approach like a general TF2 video as like this is gonna be like the Smash doc for TF2 and like bring everything back and revive everyone and like I've never really seen
this is
that
gonna be
happen.
I-64. It's gonna be I-64, guys. This is the video.
I don't know, like that mindset of like, oh, this is gonna be it. This is gonna save the scene. Like that's just never going to happen.
No,
like
it shouldn't.
I think that mindset is just like, it's just really dumb. I'm honestly, I've thought about it for a while, and I think like the 5 minute videos, like around that range, 5, you could even say 7 or 10 minute range is like probably the most enjoyable you can make like a video topic while still like trying to get him out fast enough regarding to this stuff. Like you don't have to be this super grand, it doesn't have to be the super grand Smash documentary that's going to save everything, right?
Yeah.
It just can just be like why Scout is the best class, why the medic crossbow is actually really good.
I have
whatever.
seen a couple videos similar to
Yeah.
that. There's one I know where it's this heavy main in Europe. He made a video talking about all the banned weapons and why they're banned in ETF2 Highlander. And then he talks more about like what heavy does for the team or what these players do for the team and stuff like that. And then there's also I think Cyberwizard tried to host a ETF2 or not ETF2. He tried to host a Highlander newbie cup, and how he did it is he first made videos talking about how these classes play in the role of Highlander and how to get better at it and everything before that tournament happened.
Yeah, I think stuff like that's really nice because it's
Yeah.
like I think the main issue, because I mentioned about like cultivating the audience and whatever, because it's like not really there quite yet.
Yeah.
I think the main issue is that most of and I guess a casual player, but really just like a general audience member's perception of competitive TF2 is being told not from the players who actually play it and like know about it, but from some outside perspective looking in, who sometimes they like are in pretty good faith and like will talk to some community members or whatnot, or like actually look into things. Sometimes less so, but regardless, you're still hearing it from like an outside perspective. And I think that actually providing a face and having people within the community making things and sharing their thoughts like really humanizes competitive, because this is something that I a lot of my like earlier videos were focused on like just trying to counter the arguments that a lot of people have to like hate competitive TF2 without ever having tried it or really knowing much about it. And I realized that like as I make these videos, like yes, like the counter argument is there. Like I've quote unquote like not defeated, but you know, I've argued against the misconceptions. I've dissolved those in theory. And then like a year later, you just see people saying the exact same thing. And like at a certain point, it seems less so like you're trying to inform people so much as just like provide an actual face and like a human face that people can like relate to. Because like, man, this kind of got rambly, but like I guess
You're good.
to summarize or provide an example, like there are people who just are gonna draw some line in the sand for whatever reason and decide like, oh, like I've decided that I don't like competitive TF2 or whatnot. It's like it's less so about convincing those people and more so about all the other people who are just kind of ambivalent or don't really know. Like you give them something to actually have a frame of reference, I guess.
You find something.
It's just a.
you
Go
fi-
ahead, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's your show, man. Take the charge.
Don't make it like
I ain't
that,
gonna talk over
man.
you. I'm gonna take
Don't
all.
make it like
I'm not gonna
that,
talk
man.
over you.
This
It's
is
your
the,
show, man.
This is the
It's your
competitive
show.
show. I'm only
No,
here.
no.
I only
I
video.
got invited. I didn't invite you. It's your show.
No, you go. You go.
All right, I go. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, you cannot just win. I realize you cannot win, like quote unquote win versus people who have that mindset. And I think as well, what you bring up of like building a character, I think like that is such an underrated thing about like content creation in general. Like, I think a good example of someone who built a character within TF2 is Bani, of course, because he's literally the only one who does it within competitive TF2. Or another one is actually Eric. I think he only did like the shadow plays or whatever. But then he posted like a guide to flank scout, and that popped the fuck off and was really enjoyable to watch. And I'm thinking like, this is actually relatively simple. Like imagine, and he became like very popular within like TF2 YouTube competitive
Yep.
like itself. And then I'm thinking like, imagine if someone like Poppy, who won literally one of the most important tournaments we've ever had, created a video just talking about that tournament. Well, all eyes were on it, right? I'm thinking like that's going to be fire. That's going to be heat. People are going to enjoy it. People who don't know about competitive are going to enjoy it because it's going to be a story. It isn't going to be like another like whip and balance video number 300 and why it actually sucks.
Yeah, I think
And people just don't try.
yeah, there's some of that. And I mean, I think some of it is like kind of personality or just like talent in a way, because to be clear, what I do on my channel does not take talent. It takes like the ability to be able to like talk clearly, which I guess is a talent. And it takes the ability to like know how to play TF2 and like analyze it a lot, which is something that I like enjoy about the game, but it just came with time, right? But with your example of someone like Poppy, like it's yeah, there's a lot of things to get excited about. Like the community has things that they get excited about. You just need an effective communicator to tell that to a more general audience in a way that they can then like appreciate it. And I do think that even like high level players, like for example, Eric in his videos were like very, very well made. And I think just like a great example of what content should and could look like. But he's also just like good at communicating stuff, like especially with his flank scout video. Like that is a video I'll still like send people to reference if they're asking how to play flank scout. And I don't think that every invite or prem player is going to have the interest to or the time to, but b they're not always going to be able to effectively communicate that. But I do think that if enough of an audience is kind of cultivated, then suddenly like really dense, high level, just demo review-ish stuff and like super in the weeds detail things from like high invite players could actually be uh, like good to have or successful or whatever. Once you kind of have enough people that are like, okay, I've heard about how Ubers work for like months now in different videos, so I kind of get that, but like what else is there?
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy to me that we used to have that. We used to have that in. I won't say the name. Starts with an N. They got banned. Uh, Along with Banny, along again Eric, Habib tried to do a little bit of content creation. I still have the belief in my mind that if Habib kept pursuing YouTube, he could have been the next Banny with a big personality, and everybody on
Oh,
in the
100%.
TF2
Yeah.
in the TF2 sphere
Without a
would
doubt.
know him alongside Banny, right? Because he's such a likable person. He's always so fun to be around. I still remember meeting him for the first time, and he's just yapping his head off to me about the stage lights and everything. While I try to talk to him about the stage light with a big smile on his goddamn face. It was so fun to talk to him and everything.
Yeah.
But it's just he doesn't have the motivation to do so. I wish he had the motivation to do so.
Yeah, I get kind of worried about what, or like, I wonder if Banny kind of set a precedent to where it's like if you want to be talking about higher level TF2 and strategies and things like that, like you need to be one of like the best players. Um, which I don't think is the case. Like you can just describe things in a level of detail that you are very like sound on. Um, and like you don't need to be like I haven't played Invite. um, I got second in advanced and like stopped playing, and now all the friends I played with, they're like Invite players and whatever. But like, yeah, like I haven't actually played Invite, but yet in my opinion, I don't want to like ego stroke, but like
He's
I
so
offer
modest. Oh my
probably
god, Fish.
more like in-depth kind of analysis and stuff than most other people do on YouTube for sixes.
My Wild Rumpus poster is off my wall right now. I can't believe it.
He's not treating himself higher than he already
Nope.
is. Dude,
Uh-uh.
you gotta have an ego, man. That's all I'm saying. It's so messed up that he's so modest.
Yeah, I
But
mean, even like doing the bare minimum of like what Bani does is like post pug clips, I think.
yeah,
Mostly. I don't know. I
Mhm.
don't really watch his stuff, but
he
like
has
even
a
doing the bare minimum of that is like unheard of within like Prem TF2. I don't know about how it is in RGO, but I don't really see that often as well.
yeah, he has a video editor. I think Intimation is Banny's video editor, if I'm correct.
Am I?
I'm just
It's
joking.
news to
I'm
me.
gaslighting. I'm gaslighting.
So many back payments that need to be paid.
I mean, what are your thoughts on mostly video editing? Because me and you are video editors, Animation.
Well, I wouldn't specifically call myself a video editor. I've done a bunch of sort of
You also done
pieces
thumbnails, if I'm
with
correct, yeah.
no, actually I have maybe I made that picture of Wandom recently, but that was more of a meme picture.
You know your way around a video, Photoshop software, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of started off making some dumb sort of edits. I think I made the Mandem video a while ago, which was actually because of AMS. If the Americans know who that is, really good TF2 player,
Love him.
really good editor as well. And you had the really hyped season between Mandem and Witness, which I think really got a lot of attention. And having those videos about Witness, about Mandem with the Wandom voiceover as well, it really solidified the story and definitely got people interested in something with hindsight wasn't that sort of hype or out of the ordinary for other competitions if you consider that Witness kind of demolished after the first week.
Yeah.
But I think I've mainly been making videos and content for LAN, so intro videos and some of the recaps or something like backcap-esque, but I've got infinite time and Ben and Wondom and plenty of other incredible people in EU that can look at scripts and edit them
Didn't you
together.
didn't you also do the recap for Philly Fireside, if I'm correct?
I did,
Or
yeah.
Denver Fireside. That was
Yeah.
awesome to watch.
So I did stuff for Uberfest. I've done stuff for both Polands, and I did Fireside because I thought it was going to be really interesting, and it really was. But I think for content around TF2, it's really easy to set it up of sort of the Fireside lands or even the Polands, to some extent the Uberfests, and I'm not too big on NA recently, so I don't know what the content going into those are. But to have something offline or something where you can tell an incredible story with teams that can set records or an intercontinental LAN, that's something that's awesome, and it's really great to make content around it to lead up to hype people into it. Whereas to make content for an American season or a European season where one team is probably going to win because of the people on that team, like Witness are playing ETF12 this season. I haven't really watched any of the games or that much. Don't tell JMax.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was a betting man, I'd put all of my money on them just winning.
Mm.
I would agree.
Yeah, I think the tone should probably match what the actual like real excitement or stakes are. Because we talked about that earlier, where like a lot of the videos end up being like very grandiose. Where, yeah, I think it's fine to like make, like you could make a video on, maybe I'll make a video on like the sort of RGL landscape right now, because there is just like a G6 Frio super team that's just going to roll everyone.
Yeah,
And
and
like,
they're trying
I'm
to
sure there's a
push
spin
it to
you can take
Poland.
on
Yeah.
that.
It's fun to see that. It's definitely fun to see hype videos like that, especially if it's just a shit season. It still gets people interested in the comp scene one way or another, um because you're basically setting the bar of a rival team, right? Especially if it's two really good teams. Good example, G6 versus Furry Tech. Almost every season when it's Furry Tech or G6, people would get so hype about it, being like, "Oh, this is gonna be a great match for these two. These two are gonna make it to grand finals. Let's see who's gonna win and everything." And then you make a video about a LAN that's coming up, about these two teams, introducing those two teams, and there you go, boom. Even if it's something very small, like just sliding a picture into frame of this player does this with this much KD kind of thing. They're this they play in this role and stuff like that. I still think that sets the bar if it's so
Yeah.
low effort of editing, but it still
I
sets the
mean,
bar.
it doesn't really take that much effort to make like an entertaining video. Like people think of entertaining videos like again this grandiose like well edited things. My favorite videos are barely edited, and it's like they're
Yeah,
5 minutes long and whatever, and I feel like they are the most enjoyable. Like
I
the
think, yeah, there's definitely like, well, a healthy content landscape will include like both, I think,
oh
of
yeah, yeah,
your
of
like big
course.
events and just kind of general day-to-day stuff.
yeah. I just think I wish we had more personality. Like I said before, I wish we had more personalities
Yeah.
in the competitive sphere having motivation to do so. I tried talking to the Great Mage and Gilbert about making a podcast for Anglerfish, right? I also volunteered to make their intro if they really wanted it and everything. and then they'll put me on the back burner and say we'll think about it. It's like you guys been together for so many seasons, like inside of invite and outside of invite. You guys are very entertaining to watch. I always love when they talk and have conversations and do voice acting and stuff like that. Like that Mig video of the video of Mig being slandered by Donald Trump. It's really fucking funny, and it's one of those missed potentials in my opinion, and it's also weird as well because when I was talking to Gilbert, or when I talked to Gilbert about like sponsoring teams and making teams and everything, and he wants to sponsor more teams, therefore he needs more money to do so and everything. I just think to myself, wouldn't it be good to make a good channel around that said team, like Anglerfish, instead of posting all your Anglerfish frag videos on your main channel?
Yeah, I mean, like for like again the fucking creating characters, like people, it's handed on people on a silver platter. Like if you're in Prim, like all eyes are on you. You just have to create like a video where you use your voice and maybe slightly make it entertaining, and like you don't have to do that much, I feel.
Yeah.
With like Anglerfish specifically, like I can see the immediate thoughts on that suggestion or being like, that's like how serious could that be? Because for those who don't know, at least in my opinion, Anglerfish hasn't really been a good team,
They're more of
like
a
ever.
Yeah, they're more of a friend team. They just play the game to have
Yeah,
fun, and
but
that's also the good thing about it. Because if they're not a
well,
great team, they're really fun. They're really fun to listen
it
to.
I think I can just see from like the community perspective, it's being like, oh, like what's with these like Anglerfish videos? It's like kind of a joke or whatever. But what could start out as like just something kind of funny or interesting within the community suddenly develops like a modest casual following because again, there just isn't content like that out there.
I agree.
And then eventually it's like, oh wait, now people are like cheering on for this bad DF2 team.
Exactly. That's basically what I was saying. You just took the words right out of my mouth. It's I want to see that. I definitely want to see it. And it's so funny to me as well because Gilbert wants to make content creation around it, and he just doesn't want to. He doesn't want to just press record, put a picture on a screen, and then just talk his head off about TF2 or anything in life or anything like that. Build character, you know? Because he wants a brand in TF2, but he just doesn't want to do it. It's weird. It's a double edged. It's not a double edged sword. It's this weird black and white back turning something thing. I don't know what to call it. It's something stupid like that.
One thing I'm curious about, because it feels like we kind of been talking for a while just about like, yeah, just like make content. But what are your guys' thoughts on how watered down or how much competitive content needs to or should appeal to like casual players or just a broader audience?
That's a good question.
I think you can like water it down so at least like the average TF2 player understands what it is. Like I think the average TF2 player by now know what building an Uber is, right?
Yeah.
And even then, you can kind of like have ways around saying like those terms or more complicated terms. Like building an Uber, you can also just say like, yeah, something.
Didn't didn't
You can
didn't,
say
I mean
something.
I think a good example of what you're saying is Grape Juice. Grape Juice made a terminology video
Yeah, that
about
was a good
every
one.
single term and used it or said what it was in detail in the most factual way possible. And people were so interested in that people started using that video as the gospel video for casual players to learn about competitive lingo.
Yeah.
I think something like that is not watering down though. I think that's just like going into like an appropriate level of detail just at like the lowest level, right?
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. I think personally, you should water down a little bit in terms of wanting to make it a build an audience or appealing to the casual audience and everything. If they're interested in it, and then you say something like, "Oh, I'm kiting left," like let's say you're frisbee and you just rocket jump to the left side on process, right? But you say you're kiting left, they're not gonna know what the fuck that means. They're gonna be like, "What the fuck is kiting?" And then you'll see that in the comments saying, "What is kiting?" Right? And everything. Unless you add like a little legend at the bottom saying what kiting means, kind of thing. I think that's a good way of doing it.
I think
Go on,
I
Anthony.
think
Go on.
there's yeah. I think you should always make what you feel the right sort of content is. So a lot of, say, Prabians will make or look at content through their own lens. And I think it's a little bit pointless for them to try and dumb it down or water it down. I think maybe having somebody that's more sort of in the content sphere of maybe producing or casting or something like that, it's very easy for them to express in words what someone's doing and how they do it. But this sort of gap or lack of content, it works both ways of the lower level players maybe not getting enough content tiered towards them, but also at the top. I'm sure that, well, you look at how much views people's frag videos get from like really good players, and you see invite players or prem players having a look at those. I think
Yeah.
if you're making content where you're explaining your actions or showing stuff, I think maybe stopping to take it to its lowest competitive level, it kind of wastes it, because any
Yeah.
sort of good mid player or Div 1 player in Europe, they can show something to a like an open or low player and say, oh, this is how I played this and this is why, and they'll get it. Or even to somebody that hasn't played TF2 before. If you've got a Prem player, because of what's happening in the game, it's probably a lot more difficult for somebody lower to grasp all of the points and the finer details. And sometimes it's really nice to pick for it with a comb and for someone to mention the concepts and what they're playing off and why they're playing off it
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
to
think
that
that
high level.
yeah, and also like ideally in like a healthy ecosystem, there'd just be like everything. But that's something that I've found, and I guess the motivations for a lot of what I made early on was like, um, for example, like speedrunning videos or whatever, just like deep dives into videos or into like games or topics that I know nothing about, still explains with like a level of detail that I can appreciate. Um, Whereas if it just like held my hand and then just was like, okay, this is just like, just think of it like this, then I wouldn't get the same appreciation. And I have found that even um I think even like the layman can really appreciate like some of the more in-depth stuff just by actually explaining it, right? 'Cause,
Yeah.
to be honest, there's a lot of like competitive players who don't really even understand why they're doing what they're doing. Um, but just
Yeah.
explaining like advantages, disadvantages, Uber's positioning, things like that. And yeah, I think
I
that the
think
average person can kind of appreciate things like that.
Yeah, I think the problem though is what's good on another game is not good on this game because people because Sixes is so different to TF2. People know what all the classes are and what some of the weapons do and everything like that. But when you look at Sixes through a lens, it's kind of hard, especially for new people. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on half the time. Like, yes, there's some like in some maps, there's like those little paintings of, oh, you're pushing uh, you're pushing, or blue is on red, that means they're pushing into their last. Oh, red is on blue, that means they're pushing into blue's last, right? And those are like the simple things, visual cues and stuff like that. But the problem is when it's roles on the team, there's no visualization of telling what the roles are, especially in RGL. RGL has these emblems of two scouts, two soldiers, but they don't tell which one's the flank scout or which one's the roamer, right? They don't have an emblem specifically for that, so they don't know about roles in said matches. Another is when you listen to comms, it's so there's so much going on all at once. People are just so confused half the time and everything. I shouldn't say we watered down that, but I'm just saying as an example, it gets a little bit overwhelming and it's kind of hard to know everything. You have to spend a long time just to know most of what's going on in the game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even that is like fixable within like a 5-minute video, right? Not everyone is gonna watch it, of course, but it's still like better than nothing.
Yeah. Can I say something though?
God.
I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with me on this, but I hate frag videos. I'm so tired of seeing
Oh
them.
my god. Agree.
I'm so tired of seeing
Wow.
them.
Yep.
I mean,
agree.
I'm fine. I'm fine seeing them. They're really cool. Some of them are really cool, but it's just it's been overdone. We need to do
I
something else,
disagree.
man.
As someone who like hasn't personally watched frag videos in a little bit, I
Oh, and why is
definitely.
that?
I mean,
You find it boring? Were they a little bit boring?
it's not even that. It's like there will be times where I'll just like be in the mood, you know, and other times not so much. But I think that when I remember the content that got me into TF2, like frag videos were one of the biggest ones. Like I'm thinking, I used to watch the old Shadowburn videos, and I know from NG with Love from damn, I'm blanking all of a sudden.
Sigafu?
Sigafu, yeah.
Sigafu.
It was one that I really liked as like a little NG player back in pubs. And
Yeah.
I think that I think part of the reason is because that was like the primary content output at the time. Um, so of course, if someone gets into TF2 through content, it's gonna be what was like the content. But I think that it's just exciting, like seeing cool stuff happen. I mean, even like a lot of the things that people comment on in my videos are things that just like happen in the demo that is just like the background footage or
Yeah,
whatever.
I noticed
Like
that too. They always put like a timestamp saying "lol, you died here" or something.
like I think people can appreciate um when just cool stuff happens in game. That's like the universal language, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, I
I
mean,
think the
for
only
sure.
I think the only exception for me, like where I draw the silver lining, is beater. Beater, I enjoy watching beater videos because it's different perspectives of different players, and they're just going off the rails and stuff like that. But when I watch, for example, like I don't know, like Soapy Meister, he's always uploading the same. He's always having the same clips every time. It's just him airshotting someone. Even if it's in different ways, it's always the same output. He's airshotting someone, or I don't know, destroying an entire team by nuking on them or something. It's the same thing over and over again. It gets a little bit boring after a while.
I mean, I get what Rumpus is saying as well. Like for a new player, it's like, wow, this is super cool, and this guy
Mhm.
just triple air shot the demo out of the sky or something. But I guess for a person who's been long enough to been triple air shotted and also triple air shot other people, it's just not really that interesting anymore. Especially when it's like back to back to back, the same content, the same filters, the same music, the same everything. It's
Yeah.
just not that very interesting. And I think that's why the legacy videos are so interesting as well, because it's not just looking at one season or one period of time. It's looking at an entire person's career and saying like, basically putting a label on is like, yeah, this is what you're looking at. This is what the person is known for, right? If you look at Shadowburn Legacy, it's completely different from a Disc Legacy, for example. Shadowburn is way more airshotty, way more sporadic, and then I'd say Idiski Legacy is way more goofy. I know Idiski hit like a medic with a pan on Demo Man. I'm like,
Yeah.
how does this even happen?
I think I mean, you know, it sucks. I could literally defeat my own argument by saying this one thing. Uh, I showed my nephew, or my actually, I shouldn't say my nephew, my dad's girlfriend's grandkids, Team Fortress 2. I showed them a video of Spy versus 1,000 Engineers video, and he was having a ball watching it. But then I looked at him and I was like, "You want to watch something cool?" He was like, "Yeah, I want to see something cool." And I showed him Soapy Meister. I showed him the Soapy Meister Legacy video, and I even took pictures of it. Immediately after he watched that video, he's like, "Can I play some Team Fortress 2?" That's so awesome. And I have a
Fire.
picture of him playing on the
Fire.
laptop as well.
That's heat. Yeah, he's gonna defeat Banny in like 5 years. Why is there Bud Light behind him
Don't worry about that.
or like in front of him?
Don't
What are
worry.
you feeding these kids?
I'm not feeding him anything, man. I'm feeding him good content. That's all I'm saying. I'm feeding him good content.
All right, you know, sure. I'm not gonna question it.
I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, as you said, should we cater to the casual audience more in terms of competitive TF2 content creation? I don't think so. I think you should.
No,
I
don't
think
think so.
I think you should do it for fun and let the
Yeah.
casual players roll in. You know, if
I
they're
think
interested.
that like the number one thing is that people who are prospective content creators, and that label almost makes it seem like so official when again, like you literally don't need anything, like just do it. But I think that people should have different reasons for uploading things and streaming and doing whatever. Like if we had a mid-invite player with like a good personality who just like enjoyed having a chat during scrims, like that would be good, even though they're not like consciously contributing to like the TF2 content landscape, like help TF2 competitive, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think different people can have different reasons. Man, I had another point as well that in the process of speaking, I forgot.
Yeah. I think
Happens to the best of us.
yeah, it just happens. I mean, especially if you think of video ideas, simple video ideas. For example, match highlights. We just highlight the best parts of the matches all the way through. Before having chat with chat, and then after having chat with chat, right after, just acting like it's a normal day of competitive TF2. Those are pretty interesting to do. Another one is making, again, a team channel. Like a G6 did that. They made a team channel after their first Philadelphia win, if I'm correct. And then they just stopped doing it. He literally, Caps was saying like he wants to do more. Maybe videos around the team, have like funny highlights and stuff like that. But he
Yeah, that'd be
just
good.
hasn't pursued it,
It just,
right?
yeah, it takes effort.
Yeah.
I do remember my point now because it was specifically about should we be catering to casual players. I think at least from the videos that I make, I am always conscious of not like the casual TF2 player, but just like the general audience member. So I use like all the same jargon. I don't, water that down, but if there's I'll try to like catch myself and be like, "Oh, that's something you might not know." So like here in like one little sentence, just like some context. But I kind of approach things from the perspective of you present a topic that might seem interesting to a casual player that has some perception about what they're about to watch, and then I am actually tricking them into like learning about how TF2 is played. Not just competitive TF2, but like a lot of this stuff just is like pretty universal.
Yeah.
So I think that it's good to have at least some idea of the general audience. But again, like as I mentioned earlier, I think that most people can appreciate a level of detail as long as it's explained correctly, and you don't really need to water things down there for people to appreciate once they're
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you just try to make it for the average TF2 player, right?
Yeah.
Like even saying like, oh, this guy is building right now and showing like, you know, the process of building, not even necessarily explaining it, like how it works, then that's enough for trying to explain lingo to people who may not know.
Hmm.
Like people will figure it out themselves if they're really interested.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, you got me. You got me. I was gonna say an argument, but no, I agree. Uh, actually, I got a question while Rumpus. Um, do you even know why you got popular in first place in the TF2 sphere?
Um, I have suspicions. Like the first video that really popped off. Well, I had like decent success, and actually the sort of just click live or just click record and then upload a video after rambling style developed. I was doing that on my second channel because I wanted the main channel to be like, oh, these edited videos. And then when I realized that the second channel had like 20 videos out and they were still getting like, a couple thousand views, I'm like, why don't I just like do this as
Yeah,
my
I know. I
thing?
noticed that. I noticed that as well.
Um, but the most popular video I made still actually is just the one about unlocks and why they're banned. Because of
Yeah.
course, like I will see that the sort of whitelist and rule set and like all the weeds that really like is a hang up for some people for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that tends to do better, I guess. Um, and also there's just like I guess some whole um two sides just drama, or not even drama, but just like some cold war going on apparently that like I just feel very very separate to. Um but yeah, I don't know. I think that the success I've had has been a mix of um people just liking hearing me talk and me just presenting things that people haven't heard before, and hopefully an interesting way.
I had a conversation uh in one of my live streams uh before the match started, and it was one of your fans found this channel and was, they watched the episode with you about the banned weapons and everything, and then they got hooked and watched more of overtime content. But I asked them like, what made you interested in Wild Rumpus in the first place? They were like, well, I was originally interested in sixes, but it was also, if I'm correct, it was also because he presented something that wasn't so far hating anti TF2 and far elitist TF2. He presented that middle ground of here's the reason why we do this. If you do not agree, then that is on you, kind of thing.
Mm.
And it was also because like your voice is very relaxing to some people. I don't know why. I don't know why. But it's some of those reasons is very entertaining to hear, because I initially had a theory that because of that banned weapon video, that's your most popular video on your channel, is what put you on the radar for a lot of people who are interested in sixes, and they stuck around for you talking about the middle ground of why we do this
Mm.
and call that a day.
Yeah, I do think that and a point I was trying to make earlier, or thought to make, but is like very much related to, rather than like you're, battling this or whatever in the marketplace of ideas and whatnot, like
Yeah.
you really just want to be like humanizing this scene and offering a face for people to like recognize. I think that a huge component of that is that people can absolutely just like pick up on honesty. And when you are like, for example, let's talk about like the gas passer, right? Which is a banned weapon. It's awful. No one would ever use it.
Yeah.
Um, and like it's I don't even care why it's banned, but point being, it's not like a super controversial thing, but it's something that you see get brought up every once in a while. It's like, oh, here's person A who thinks competitive is stupid, and they're talking about the gas passer as an example of, look at how frivolous this ban is. That means that more of these bans are frivolous, and like, et cetera, et cetera. And like, you could have, and that's like not very good faith. It's not very honest. Like, you can kind of pick up on that. And you could have the flip side of someone who's like, um, advocating for competitive play and like just talking down and being like, hey, this is like it's good that this is banned or whatever. It's like, I don't know what the competitive argument would be, because people don't really make
I
it so
mean,
much as
no,
it's
nobody.
very one directional hate, honestly, from the casual players. But I think that being honest about something like that, and like, yeah, this is like what's going on, like, do you actually care about this? And you'll find a lot of people are like, no, I really don't actually care whether the gas passer is unbanned and no one uses it, or if it's banned and no one uses it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I could say right now, like, oh, we banned this weapon because of a bug. I don't think you understand that. You're probably just a casual player, right? If I say that to them, then I don't know, I'll look hostile to them, right?
Yeah.
And it's not a good thing to do, but there's so many people in the competitive TF2 sphere that like to do that and like to fight back these arguments, right? Instead of sitting down with them and asking them, do you actually care about this? Or if we unban this, would this change anything, right? And when I asked them that, some people would just go, no, it would probably wouldn't change anything because the damage is so small. And then I go, okay, then why is it banned in the first place? You know, I would ask them questions to help them understand that. One of the good examples is when I had a talk with someone about the disciplinary action. They had an argument where they were saying, okay, if this brings heavy to mid and stuff like that, why don't they blah 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 blah, you know? And I literally sat them down and then I was like, this game is made with high speed and precision. If you give a character an overpowering weapon that makes other players go really fast, then it will become an overpowering weapon in terms of speed. And with that in mind, it is a bad weapon to use, or it's a meta weapon, and therefore it'll be used all the time. Therefore, you cannot use other weapons. And then when they heard that, they were like, if you put it like that, or when you put it like that, that's very understanding why it's banned. And it's like, there you go. That's why it's banned. You know?
I
Yeah.
think a good example of, I'm sorry for interjecting here,
You're
but
good. You're good.
You're fine.
the a good example of like an honest discussion, in my opinion, is about um, the sort of culture around off-classing, because off-classing and just the classes being played is a huge hang-up for prospective competitive or sixes players specifically. And there is legitimate, like, I don't think that the sixes community is by any means like flawless in this fashion, because there are, for starters, I absolutely agree with like lower div um, pugs and whatnot, like mandating the class selections, because the problem with off classes, or rather, the reason that they're bad, is because there's very like accessible and easy to pull off counterplay with just your basic lineup, and it's so easy to just make an off class be useless. But if you're new at the game and you don't know that counterplay, then it really can just like fuck everything up in a way, or just like completely disassemble the flow and pace of the game in a way that no one's actually like learning sixes. It's more just like a pub with 12 people or whatever. Um, but at a higher level, like, there's legitimate use for some of these classes. I mean, I saw Kawa beat Froyo with Pyro, not perma Pyro, but a lot of Pyro,
Yeah.
just because like they were not adjusting to just bomb. Banny kept calling just double bomb into the other team, and they have like a Pyro, which means your bombs are completely useless, and that was like a huge upset and whatnot. I think stuff like that is pretty cool. And there's like legitimate use for these classes in a way that I've seen a lot of players who play at a somewhat high level just shut down against an off class. Like, do you not know like how easy it is to play around that? Like, have you really only just learned like pattern recognition for what you're doing and not actually think the why? But on the flip side, like you absolutely have to have a discussion about the fact that the vast majority of perma off-classing that happens is just in a trolling setting where someone doesn't actually care about like winning with it. They're just trying to mess
Yeah.
around.
It's that
And
troll
it like
mindset.
ruins, yeah, like ruins pugs and whatnot. So like there's a lot to be said there about the attitudes towards off-classing and people like not willing to scrim against a team because they're running the off-class versus when it's actually played, like most of the time it's just people trolling, like destroying the fun of a pug and things like that. There's a lot of different angles, and I don't think that Sixes players are like completely um, immune to criticism there. But if I can honestly offer the perspective there, then suddenly the person from the outsider perspective who just thinks like, wow, these Sixes players just hate when you play perma pyro or whatever, will now hear, okay, oh, I had no idea that an invite team upset Froyotech with a pyro. That's interesting. While also hearing, okay, so this is some of the reasons why competitive players don't like pyro, while also explaining the extent to which they don't like pyro, because it's not just universal, you go pyro and everyone hates you type of thing. And suddenly like there's a perspective there that even with there being valid criticism, like now there's kind of a nuance and an appreciation that people can have that again just like sort of humanizes them because you're actually just being honest.
Yeah, and that's what
Yeah.
you bring onto the table when it comes to your videos.
Yeah, I was also gonna say, like, I think the general like fundamental theory, I guess, behind Sixes isn't explained that well. Like, you can what I think of Sixes, right, is we pride ourselves on fast speed, a lot of speed in gameplay, precision, like you said, and it's like our game is fundamentally prides itself on that, and we try to uphold that. And that's why these classes that don't represent speed, that don't represent precision, like pyro or heavy or anything else, just we don't want to include that because that's just not something that we think the game should be. I don't know if you guys seen the what is it, the Overwatch goats meta. I think I saw one video on that, and when I'm thinking about all these like arguments of why off classes should be run all the time and what the world would look like if these classes get run all the time. That's what I think of. I think of a slow game where the rescue ranger engineer just teleports his gun from last to second and makes the time go fast, or time go slow into a round reset. And that's
Yeah.
why I think as well is the like you said, like the Kawa Pyro is so interesting, because it's taking that like sort of um, idea of these classes have a time and place, which usually is only on last, but it's still bringing it into somewhere else where it's not full time, right?
Yeah.
It's in these specific moments, or quote unquote specific moments, which directly counter what is usually effective. I kind of lost the plot there, but I think
One point I
um,
like as well is that when you have these well-defined roles for the off classes that are generally more minimal, whenever an off class breaks out of that role to some extent, like it's more exciting. Like
yeah,
I still think about like one of the best TF2 clips is I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Corsa spy back cap or not back cap, back stab on Metalworks last where he like surfed a sentry and then backstab the med.
I did see
Something like
that.
that's like really cool because you just don't see spies being played all the time, I think.
Yeah, and it makes the video more cemented, as a lot of people like to see that because it's something different onto the table when it comes to competitive TF2, right?
yeah. I think as well it's like there's this stigma where it's like it isn't really cheered upon because it's outside of the meta. Um, but it's kind of it's almost more interesting to see when someone goes like Beggar's Bazooka. I'm sorry. It's like
it's an E.
even though we've set these rules for like this not being cool or not being allowed, even though those are set in place, people still go pyro outside of last, which makes it even more interesting while these barriers are in place to not make them less viable, make them only be used on last.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me think when I hear that, it makes me think of. I think the stigma comes from the Demo Knight Odin video. It makes me think of Odin Demo Knight because I think that's where the stigma came from. Because we do not like Demo Knight, and then Solar Light just goes, okay, here's Demo Knight. I'm gonna play it for a season, and then just talks about competitive stuff like that. And we just don't want Demo Knight in competitive. Therefore, I think that's where the stigma came from. But that's a different discussion. That's a different discussion. More so,
Stigma's been there before.
I guess I haven't really seen that stigma.
Not
myself.
Specifically about Demo Knight, but just like off classing in general.
Okay. But yeah, I never really seen that. But I don't know. A lot of people have gotten interested in competitive because of that Demo Knight thing. The crazy thing is I haven't seen much Demo Knight in any capacity anywhere because of that video. I really thought when I saw that video, I thought it was just there was gonna be this wave of like Demo Knight players just wanting to come in and just play in the low levels to try to bring themselves up to Odin level or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's good as well, where it's like you have this video of like doing something outside of the meta, and even though like it's popular and a lot of people got into it because of that, it's not something that they're gonna retry or try to recreate just because it's only something that they like to watch and not something they like to do themselves. Like, I really wouldn't say that most of Solar Light's watchers are even somewhere like near a decent amount of percentage is a Demo Knight player.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mostly for the memes, if I'm correct. They mostly like to watch the memes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's also definitely interesting to learn about something new and something already familiar. Like TF2 is familiar, Demo Man is familiar, Demo Knight is familiar, but the inner workings of it is new, and that's what people are kind of like most comfortable with watching. They want to watch something that's familiar, but they want to watch it that it's still interesting and new, and that they can take away with something.
Yeah. Is there anything else to talk about? I don't think so.
Yeah, I can't believe you labeled me as just a Pass Fortress guy at the start.
I mean, you're the head runner, or not head runner. You're the project manager of Pass Fortress, like I said.
Yeah.
So
I guess.
So get owned. That's all I can say.
Go edit another video.
Yeah, I'm gonna edit this video once I pull up the outro to this video. Shit. I was thinking of something else, but I don't think I have anything else to say about competitive TF2. Yeah, make some videos.
Uberfest is coming up.
Uberfest is coming up. Make a documentary on that or something. I don't know.
Blog yourself.
Yap about it. Form your opinions or something. Be like Brand Slam. He made a top 10. He made a top 10 on Denver, Philly, and it's already at 10K views. So if he could do it, you could do it too. I remember I think I made a quote one time during my departure of Fireside Cast, if I'm correct. Let me pull it up. So yeah, they asked me to make a quote before my departure and everything. This is such a fucking shit.
Damn, you posted up.
That's such a shit.
Looking handsome.
Look how flat my head is. Goddamn, I got a Minecraft head. But yeah, they asked me about like a quote, and I said this. I want to make one thing clear, just because I'm stepping down, yada yada yada. But it was this. I love or yeah, where is it? Oh yeah, TF2 competitive coverage is over. I have is not over. Shit. It's supposed to say
Are you
it's
good?
not over. I'm having an aneurysm. That's what's happening. I have hired one person to talk about competitive TF2, and that's you. Cliche, I know, minus 5 frags, but it's true. All it takes is basic knowledge of video editing and a smidge of passion for competitive TF2 to actually make something for this community. It doesn't have to be high quality with 200 plus visual effects. You could do a podcast and still achieve something in this community. Whether it be a podcast about your team, making CompTF2 meme compilations, or make it a documentary yourself about something you like in this community. People want to listen and see something in the competitive TF2 community. You just have to take the time to do it. That's why I'm going to step away, and or that's my final say on that.
I do have
That's-
one thing
that's
is
fine,
that community or content specifically for competitive TF2 does extend past like videos and streaming, and like some of the content that I liked the most coming up in the scene was like the power rankings and just like the TFTV discussions and whatnot. So
Yeah.
stuff like that is still worth contributing to, even if you don't want to make videos.
Yeah. So, Brain Slam, if you're listening, make more. But anyway,
Big ups.
guys, I think that's it for us. I think that's everything we have to discuss. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope y'all have a good day. See you later.